Hello, creatives, community, and kind folks. Welcome to RPG with DBJ, where we just talk tabletop role playing games and pop culture and things that influence tabletop role playing games. Today, we're going to talk about uh, AI systems, large language models, and things associated with it eating itself. And of course, been away from the channel for a bit of time. So at the end, I'll talk about me just a little bit. But of course, sit back, put your feet up, grab your snacks, and let's get into it. Hello, creatives, community, kind folks. Again, here I understand that I've been away from the channel for quite some time. Actually, I'll turn this off till some people join in. I'd like to talk about AI systems eating itself and how it relates to the tabletop role-playing community. So, a trend that I've been seeing, and hopefully this chat will show up. Please let your comments show up. A trend that I've been seeing in technology and concerning the tabletop role-playing community, and I'm sure you guys have seen this, where you can tell there's an uncanny valley when it comes to large language models and AI art and all of that. And I've seen this especially on like thumbnails and YouTube and ads on the phone and Facebook and other things where AI art, as an example, is starting to look alike. And one thing that I've discovered through articles and people talking, and of course, anecdotally, is that AI systems are learning from the very AI produced materials that are being exposed to us. And so AI art is now having its own look because it's feeding off of its own AI art, as an example. Something else that I've realized, because I listen to a lot of podcasts. I listen to YouTube channels rather than watching them, absorbing them like a podcast, and I'll listen to articles. And I've noticed, maybe I'm blaming some of the creators, and I apologize for blaming some of these creators, but I can hear AI writing. Like there's this, I don't know if you want to call it filler words or non-specificity in the writing, or a lack of using AI systems to help, using large language models to help write, and then not going through and editing those writing things. I mean, I've even seen articles produced for television and movie channels like Screen Rant and a bunch of these other ones, and there's like miswordings, and there's tense inflections where they're like changing tenses and whatnot. And these large language models are learning from the materials that are being produced. In other words, these AI systems, so-called AI systems, or aggregates, or whatever you want to call them, are producing hallucinations and garbage, and then other systems are scraping that garbage material and then eating itself by producing the exact same garbage material back out of it again. I mean, like, for example, I know all of you out there have seen the artwork with the funny fingers and the animations that happen with the AI systems that will like flow or give someone two left hands or whatnot. And you know, the idea behind it was, oh well, these systems are going to get so good we won't be able to tell the difference. except for the fact that these systems are learning from the garbage that was already put out, and they're just perpetuating it. So what does this have to do with tabletop role-playing games? Well, it seems like um, we can use systems. One of them that I can think of right off the top of my head is called Grammarly, and if you're using like Google Docs or something, they have a system there called Gemini, and there's a number of these language systems where you type out a paragraph of anything, and then the AI system will help you rewrite it. It will make it more formal. It will elaborate on it. It will summarize it for you and whatnot. And we can have, and maybe the rest of the week, we can have a discussion on like, are these systems good or bad? And then how from writing it by hand to punching in a few code words or a paragraph and having it write out a whole novel or design a whole game system for you or a world. Where do you sit in the middle of that? Is there is spell check that's been around for a long time? Is spell check a system that we don't mind using? Are suggested forms of correction? If we have maybe we are writing quickly and we know that we can't keep checking the grammar along the way, and then we have suggestions along the way, does that count as like cheating, I guess, if you want to call it cheating? And what is cheating in the first place? I am not seeing any chat comments if you are putting in the chat, but I will see if there's a way for it to show up. Come on. Give me a moment. Let's see if I can. That's not going to help, and I don't want to shut the chat down. So let me go directly to YouTube. Let's see if we can find, and maybe I can open up a chat window. All right. Apologize for any echoes. There we go. Okay, I gotta pop a chat window out. Pop chat. There we go. All right, I gotta pop the chat window out because it is not coming up on my. There we go. Overlay, and let's see if I can put this up instead. Hey, Spook. And share this out. All right, that's better because my system's not coming up here. So sorry about that, guys. Can I make this bigger? There we go. Spook, yeah, Spook says I've been having some fun seeing some of the ways people have been poisoning AI. Yeah. Oh, this is glad I caught you on. I've been away for a while. I'm not going to get into personal stuff until the end of the show because you guys aren't really here for that. But I will explain at the end for those who do want that. Yeah, Spook says AI writing has that "hello, fellow humans" feel to it. It does. It feels like there's Hallucinations and Garbage is a great podcast name. Maybe we might steal that. Yeah, that this hello humans feeling to it, because I've heard, like I said, I don't read a lot, but I hear it just because of my job, and when I travel, I'll download things and whatnot, and I hear it, and I'll hear someone speaking, or I'll hear one of those AI audio formats, and I'm going like, you know what? You could have probably cut like 30 to 50% of these words and out of this, dialogue or something that the person claims to have written. And I'm like, I can hear it. It's like there's like 3 lines of dialogue, and they're all versions of itself. And like, mind you, I've used some of these AI systems to kind of go like, I know what I'm trying to say. I need some examples, and I'll start reading it and go, yeah, those are all the same words. You're using a thesaurus, their AI system, large language model, but it's not very good. Oh man. Michelle Levin says academics call it cheating, but the rest of the world calls it inspiration. Now, we're armchair enthusiasts here, so I'm not saying good or bad, but I'm letting you know that if your ear or eye is sensing these things, I don't think you're wrong. If you're like, one of my favorite YouTube channels is punching stuff out, and you're like, that sounds weird. That dialogue sounds odd. And when I say odd, I don't mean it's incorrect. It just sounds almost too refined and not. When I say inspirational, sometimes we want to hear the voice of the creator, and I can kind of, my ears starting to go like, that doesn't sound like you. That sounds like something else. Spook says, I'm not against AI as a tool. I don't know anyone who doesn't use spell check. Right. And is it spell check like, oh, you just spell something incorrectly, or grammar, the Oxford commas and semicolons and things like that, or rewriting the sentence 3 different ways and you pick one, I don't know. Michelle says, I like the tone of my own writing. I don't use AI for rewrites. I use it to summarize other perspectives so I can interpret and express in my own words. See, exactly. There's AI systems to summarize, like, the too long didn't read articles, and you go, well, what do they mean by that? I also, in a weird way, like with here in the States with Amazon, that if a product has a lot of reviews, it will summarize the reviews. And is that bad or good or something? I don't know. But the hallucination part, for those who don't know, and again, I'm an armchair enthusiast, so maybe I don't know, but the idea of AI hallucinations is that incorrect information or an odd perspective gets perpetuated in the system and is spoken as if it's true. So, like, for example, when if I do a Google search, it will give me a summary, and then it gives me the links, and sometimes you go to the link and you're like, that's not what that means. But heathen. So, yeah, Michelle, exactly. Sounds like scripted. It sounds scripted, like a machine rather than a person. Yeah, I see that. Spook says, Jenny D and I think Professor Dungeon Master both did videos where they had AI write a script for them. It's an interesting train wreck, right? And here, so I'm going to defend AI here for a minute. These language models for people that use it. I'm going to defend it just a little bit. It can take as much work. And this is a weird thing to say. It can take as much work to input something into one of these models like ChatGPT or Gemini or whatever, Grammarly or whatever, and then have it spit something out as it would be for you to just write it in the first place and just correct it along the way. I mean, as those of us in the tabletop role-playing community, we love science fiction, we love fantasy, we love terminology and words and phrases that don't run like businesses, right? We like to think fantastical, and these AI systems they are an aggregate. So if you talk about dragons or fairies or space stations or aliens, it'll kind of do like it'll funnel it down and kind of pick something in the middle. And it's okay in short bursts, but then after a while you're like, this sounds pretty, like, this doesn't sound like you, this sounds average. And now when I say defend, what I mean by it is, if you can really curtail the system and get it to bend to your needs and your wants and your desires, an example would be a writer like Stephen King or George R.R. Martin having a system that builds on their own materials, I don't think that's a bad thing. Or rather, I don't think that's the evil of the thing. Like if you could just have a blank language model based off of your own writing, and then it spits back towards you your own phrases and terminology. Like, I use a lot of run-on sentences, unfortunately, in my writing. I use a lot of commas because I unconsciously have this desire to want to explain what I'm trying to say. And so I use a lot of commas to describe a thing. I basically use like 3, 4, 5 different words from the thesaurus, and it's unfortunate, and it's a habit I try to break. But the AI systems will cut that out of my own language, and I'm like, no, that's not real. You're correcting me down to something that's appropriate, and that's not what I want. I want it to sound like me. Yeah, it's difficult. And yes, there are plenty of YouTube channels where people write a script, and it might be bullet points. They might be fully scripted. And mind you, if you see this person who edits their videos and they put a lot of like sound effects, or they use video clips in the background and art and things like that, you kind of have to script it out. Either that, or they record themselves and then they edit their own language. I mean, their own audio files. But many times it's just easier to read a script 2, 3, 4 times, take the best one, maybe use those 3 or 4 audio files and then stitch them together, and then start adding things in the background. It takes a lot to edit, and the AI models will help with the speed of that process. Yeah, I'm back. I'm going to explain at the end of the talk, right? While we're together. But here's another thing that happens with these language models, these AI systems, that I think you guys will notice if you just keep your ear open or your eye open, and that is, with the garbage in, the garbage out, get garbage back in. Like Spook mentioned up at the top about the systems. Yeah, man, it's not coming up. Oh well, we'll deal with this. And I'm not getting my Twitch comments as well. I guess I could go over. Oh, it won't let me. Let's see if I can find it. Let's see if I can pop out the chat over on Twitch. Sorry. Mute you out. And pop out chat. There we go. Okay. All right. Just want to make sure it was here. Sorry. I don't want to forget anyone's comments. And put you up here. I'll put you down here to the side. If I need to, I'll pop back and forth. Okay. Sorry. Apologize for the delay there. AI systems distracting me. So, one of the idea of the garbage in, garbage out is that it's not that information is being presented that's incorrect, which is a huge worry, right? I don't know if you guys have seen articles where there is a fake. It was an artificially generated terminology that's being put into science blogs and science writing because the AI systems grabbed onto it and won't let it go. And I don't know if you guys have heard about that, but I found that. But anyway, it's not just that information is wrong, which is all horrible in itself, but it's also that, like, we hear about like using ChatGPT to be a dungeon master or a game master, or using these systems, solo play, and using those systems to help you guide your gaming experience. The problem is that it's learning from people who are using it to game, and now these systems are doing like the giant rats, the goblins, the 10-foot pit, the dungeon crawl, the NPCs that all seem to sound the same. because it's learning from other systems and other people who are doing the exact same thing, right? So every time it produces something that we acknowledge or we're using, uh, again, it's using it for um, our use, and it's spitting that same information back to us. So a long while ago, like on the channel live, I went to chat gpt and decided to figure out, like, could we design a world with it, can it descriptor, and it always fell towards the mean, it fell towards the middle. That what's it called, what's the shape of the sine wave, right? Whatever it's called, or I guess you could go down. It always fell down to the middle, and even trying to force it to get out of its own way, to go like, no, 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 I don't want the average. I want you to spit back something that's in what we wanted and what we wanted to design. It wouldn't do it. And now these AI systems are learning from us that the information it put out people are using, and then other systems are scraping that very information. Humans are weird. 9-10 billion people on a planet, and everybody thinks they're the only ones. And these language model systems and art model, I don't know what you want to call them, large data model systems, are, everyone thinks they're the only one using it. Like, for example, I was listening to a podcast about teachers in universities using AI systems to grade students' papers. And I was like, that's horrible. You're getting paid a lot of money to teach people in college. Like, why would you use an AI system to read kids' papers and summarize them and grade them and whatnot? And then, but the argument was, well, all the students are doing it. And the professors are like, listen, if the students, basically told the students, if you're going to use AI to write your papers, then I'm going to grade your papers using AI systems. And it's like a feedback loop, right? Like the students are all writing papers that are sounding the same, and not cultivated, not harvested, meaning like you're trying to come up with something to say. Maybe you want to be a science fiction novelist or a fantasy writer or something, and you're like, I don't know, I got a paragraph, I need inspiration. So you plug it into the system, it spits back something at you, and then that's where you should take it and then rewrite that material. I attempted to use it for my Obsidian Star, and it just would not. It had a very hard time bending to the world I was trying to create, and it was just frustrating. I was like, I'm putting a lot of effort into a thing. I felt like I was putting a lot of effort into a thing that it just made it better for me to write it myself. Now, what it was helping me with, not really helping me with, but with hard science fiction, there's a lot of details in it, like how many moons and what's the atmosphere like, and pressures and temperatures and astrological positioning and things like that I wouldn't be able to do on my own. Like if you were traveling at constant acceleration under 1g, how long would it take you to go from, I don't know, Luna, our moon, to Saturn, one of Saturn's moons? I wouldn't be able to figure that out on my own, not easily. But I mean, that's not really an AI system. That's basically like math and whatnot. But you get the point. But back to, say, tabletop role-playing games and world building, I think in general, and again, we're not talking about the hazards of AI, like how much energy it uses and the coolant systems and the data farms. I'm in Central Ohio, and they are constructing numerous data bunkers for data processing and whatnot here. Like, we are slowly turning into our own Silicon Valley in the Ohio Valley here, and they are selling that land very cheaply. Honestly, we don't even know what's going to happen with our own power grid. When these systems are starting to drain them, hopefully they will incorporate some kind of legality that they have to improve or power their own power grids and whatnot. But these are other complications outside of tabletop role playing games. But if you're interested in using them, be aware that, you know, it may seem interesting, the thing it's spitting back at you, but it might be spitting back the same thing for 10,000 other people for the same fantasy dungeon or landscape or something like that. Spook says, in the end, I am not interested in true AI development. I think it's a thing we need to stop and ask if we should rather than if we can. Unfortunately, while I can't say I disagree with you, is there a way for me to pop this out? No, I don't want to do that by accident. Sorry. While ostensibly I agree with you, they're just moving it. People with a lot more money and power and influence are pushing it faster than those of us that would feel that we should like take our time and put guardrails on. Just are not doing it. I'm with you, but dude, it's in everything. I mean, it's in things that we're just like, why are you even putting it in there? Right? It's like on my phone and in my email, and like I was mentioning before, like Google Docs and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, and by the way, I'm a Googleite. You know, it just happens. I'm a Luddite in many ways, and it's like I have to keep going. Like, no, I don't need this. No. That said, I'm all for virtual intelligence, like in Mass Effect, that's used for personal assistance. I wonder what the world is going to be, because we think of Skynet and Cyberdyne systems, right? Terminator, where a singular unified AI system is going to be our downfall. I wonder if that's not going to be the case. I wonder if it's going to be a thousand small AI systems that are going to discorporate us. Your Spook says, I completely agree that it's way beyond our control at this point. Yeah, I you would think smarter, more powerful people would be the ones to put the handbrakes, and it would be us commoners that are just like, no, I love AI systems. I think it's the opposite. I think an old grognard like myself is in the same position as like you young folk out there. Like, you're just like, I don't know if we should be using it for this thing, and it's like they're cramming it down our throat, kind of a way. And I normally don't think that way, like, where some people are just like, hey Drew, yeah, I've been away for a while. Drew is here. I wonder if there's a way to, can I toggle between? Nope, it's not letting me toggle. Let's see if I go here and then introduce this. Yes, I want to bring you into here. Nope, it's not letting me do it. Sorry there, Drew. But you are here, if that makes sense. I got the chat up, so I wish I could just. I can't even copy it. Man. Yeah. Overlay, come on up. Did it? Wait, how in the world? Okay, all right. I guess it is. I guess it is working. So it's working, but now I can't see to respond to it. That's weird. Anyway, sorry about the tech issues when you're away from your computer for a while. Michelle says, academics call it cheating, but the rest of the world calls it inspiration. It's back on that, but is it? Oh, well. Come on. No, I'm gonna hide. I want to shut this down and just do it the old-fashioned way that I used to do it. I want to just share it out. Sorry, guys. Sorry about that. because you guys make the channel, so that's why I'm that's why my mind was focused on it. Apologize for that. It's my name, Methane. Says, I think that might be the first time I hear it put that way before. I like that phrase though. AI eats its own filth, waste, garbage. I'll put however you want to put it. Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, it does look like it was trying to spook. Yes, it's trying to catch up. Yeah. But yeah, it's because, and the reason why I'm not a science. I'm a science fiction nerd, but I don't have any science experience or data. I'm not a professional, but as a commoner, as a common person, I like to talk about these things because your average idiot like myself is going to use these systems, and sometimes my idiot self will think it's true or think that it's the best thing since sliced bread, not understanding that everybody else is using the exact same thing. So if I want to write the next great fantasy novel and I'm using Chat GPT or Gemini or I can't think of the other names of these systems used across the board, but you get my point. And it starts spitting out something that I think is amazing. It might be because it got stolen from somebody else and it's now propagating it through 50,000 other people going like, oh, purple fairies with dragon wings seems to be a inspiration. And I go, oh, I'm going to use that. Type, copy, paste, where literally just stole it from somebody else who had a great idea. And the AI system is like, I think I'm going to hallucinate on this a little bit more. And like Methane was mentioning, every time an AI system produces something into the public, other systems are scraping that and using it. Like I was mentioning about the art, like there's an over processed, over perfected look in AI art now. Like, have you seen YouTube thumbnails? It's always like this person, like the perfect skin and the strange behavior of like the imagery of the people in the background, that they're all doing the exact same things. There are for some reason I'm getting a lot of like red pill stuff in my feed for some reason, and they all seem to be using AI to like have like a an over testosterone filled male doing this, or like there's some young semi Asian uh, featured female with a bosom that's just a little bit too large and unrealistic, sitting in the thumbnail or something off on the side, and I'm like, oh, it's AI art again and again. And I see this in tech ads too. Like someone will get a tech ad and they'll put like a hand holding a device, and the device isn't really anything. It's just like it's an AI created, generated mechanical Star Trek box with some glowing buttons on it. And it's like, I've seen that before. It's wild. Yeah, Methane says, yeah, it's wild. The thing is with generated stuff is that eventually you start to see the patterns in the system. Yeah, yep. And it all looks the same or blends together. Yeah, these systems are all, Drew says AI stop. It's AI slop. Yes, sorry, Drew, because I do have your Twitch guy. It'll come up at a certain point. Commoner sounds like peasant. Yes, maybe I am. I'm a third level peasant. But yeah, like I said, we human beings tend to think we're the only ones, and it's wild how we think that way. Like, hey, dude and dudette or whoever in between that's putting out a YouTube channel with an AI thumbnail, like, so is everybody else. And then it all starts to sound and look the same. And my fear is, so, okay, I'm gonna defend these systems for just a minute, okay? Follow me on this. Um, we humanity has always been using tools to make things easier. right? We use a big giant rock to break, knock someone over the head, or to break open a shell or whatever. And we've been using tools forever. And these tools help us do something to make things simpler, to cut down on the riffraff. If it takes a long time to read all my emails and I can press a button for it to summarize it all, fine. Okay. I'm not arguing against that. But when we want to absorb media, whether it's tabletop role playing games or science fiction television shows or fantasy novels or music, or simple video imagery in the background of a YouTube or a Twitch channel or something like that, and we start using these systems to basically, uh, like seasoning, spice it up just a little bit. The problem that I think we'll begin seeing is that we'll see the same phrases, we'll see the same artwork, we'll hear the same notes in the music, and every time we're producing it, other AI systems are learning from that produced material and whatnot. Drew says, I watch on Twitch, but I leave comments here so they show up on the screen. Oh, yeah, you're perfectly fine there, Drew. Thank you. Methane says, my issue isn't even regular people using this stuff. That isn't most of the problem. It's when the giant corporations make it their processes. Completely agree. Because, listen, us most common folk, I know commoners and peasants, which Drew, maybe by accident, I kind of mean that. But yes, us regular people, we don't touch 1.5 million consumers in a simple tweet or simple Facebook post or a simple commercial or background information or something like that, right? Like we here in the States, we had a little kerfluffle when someone decided to produce an AI generated image of a politician without, checking it out or looking in the background. The hallucinating part of it is also our problem, right? When we think, oh, well, the AI system knows what it's doing, and just putting it out there. Yep, the scale. Methane says the exact. That's what I was. Thank you for using that, and thank you for making us here over in this side of the interwebs brilliant. Yeah, it's the scale. Because if you put out bad information at scale, people aren't going to delve into it. Today, barely anybody reads. People read headlines and they're done. That's it, right? Like I put, AI eating itself. I think I left that in the thumbnail or something. And while right now I'm explaining what I mean by that, some people might read that and go, "Huh, he doesn't know what he's talking about," which they might be accurate in that they, I don't know what I'm talking about, but they didn't bother listening first and then making that judgment. Yep. I occasionally make a pick for an NPC. See, that kind of stuff I don't mind. Like popping over to ArtStation and finding something. I mean, in your own table game, or using I don't even know if it's still around. It was a website called something like "This Person Isn't Real." I know I'm miswording it, but it was like, hey, I need an NPC. Types, couple of prompts, boom, you get an NPC. I really don't have a problem with that. Well, I don't have a problem with it using it at your own table. Some people might have a problem with it because of how much energy it uses and more ecological issues with AI systems, which is a different talk. But here we're just talking about being inspired and world building and tabletop role playing games, and I don't have a problem with that. Now, if you're going to produce products with that, I have a problem with that. Yeah, this person doesn't exist. Is that the name of it? I couldn't remember the name. I guarantee you, there's plenty of other sites like that. But yeah, and those images were made from aggregates from scraping photos produced on social media. Drew says, I made some pictures with it's my king in orange, but those are mostly private use. I hope you clean up afterwards because I can feel that it might be messy. Boom, 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 boom. So, um, again, I like the idea that some of these systems are inspiring because I have used it where I'm going like I'm having trouble explaining this concept about like okay like if I can pull something out of my ass and do a little self promotion here. Um, there is a slightly comedic um, material used in the science fiction game Obsidian Star that I'm working on. There are things that are called bricks, and bricks are basically containers that people put stuff in when you're traveling through space. You put your crap in it, you seal it up. It tells you whether it's dangerous or not, and then it gets all stacked and loaded together and sent out into space. Well, over the many years in space travel and loss of information and people dying and things like that, bricks are scattered across the solar system, and people will find those bricks. And those bricks are like Schrodinger's containers. And I was trying to figure out a way to describe what they are because it, the idea is that you really don't want to open them up because there's probably a lot of useless information or material inside of them. But at the same time, it's fun thinking about what would possibly be inside of them. So they have a value unopened, and they're kind of designed as sometimes there's funny things that people find in them, useless items, and then every once in a while they are a MacGuffin, a storytelling element. Like someone opens it up and they're like, you know, 70-year-old nuclear launch codes or something, or what have you. And I was like, I can't think of a good way to say this, and I typed it in. I was like, no. Typed it in again, no. And I was like, screw it, it doesn't understand it. The system can't understand what I'm trying to say. And I was like, it's going to cause me more problems trying to get it to understand me than me just doing it myself. Drew's like, the bricks are J.J. Abrams mystery boxes? Wait, no, then then I would hate them. Yes, they are kind of. Yes, it's a little bit of a little tongue in cheek in the mystery box, like what's inside, and it's probably less exciting than you would. It's less exciting probably what it really is than your own mind would generate. So messy. Spook says that's a really fun idea. Yeah. It's like a conversational piece amongst the solar system residents of the solar system that talk about what would possibly, trading services and goods for bricks, because what you might think is inside of it when it's probably just like dirty socks or old photographs or maybe a comic book collection or a bunch of dead cell phones, or it could be gold bricks. It could be, like I said, nuclear launch codes. It could be a virus on the, it could be anything. I mean, what would you pack inside of a box called a brick, because they stack like bricks for easy transport, and for to keep track of the volume, mass, weight, and density of objects taken into space. Um, I couldn't think of a good acronym for that, so I just called them bricks. But anyway, Methane says, right now it's I find it's best to approach AI as an intermediate learning tool to get ideas from, to explain some things, to ask questions, so you can understand and get ideas, not final product. And I see us using it as a final not us. Well, I see creatives using it as a final product, and unfortunately, with the big corporations, if you are okay, so side tangent, I heard an article. There was a podcast that I was listening to talking about the low pay, high output of writers for websites, for blogs. Like I talked about Screen Rant and some of these other blogs. Um, uh, Comic book, science fiction, fantasy news, that kind of thing. And there are people who write articles, and they are using prompts to push out material so that these websites constantly are producing articles over and over and over again. And the writers of those are not able to, not, I won't say not able, they are not um, enticed to make quality, it's all quantity. And that quantity is, I need a 1,000 word article about uh, the new Marvel movie and these actors. One, two, three, boom, boom, click. And then they just up print, boom, and slap it up there because they've got 15 more articles to write that day. And it's crazy. Like you said, me think like it's great to like you said, to have it to ask questions, to almost be a partner, um, dare I say, a an assistant in helping you develop something, and go, I was thinking of this thing, type, put it in, it spits something back out at you, and you go, oh, that's what I was thinking of, or oh, that's a really good turn of phrase. Yeah, that's, if I do that in first person for this character, and then you start using inspiration, yes, but I see it as pump and dumps. And yes, it sounds as dirty as it is. Uh, mm, mm, mm. Learning tool is bad since it's very very often wrong. At best, I would say brainstorming tool. I agree. I agree. The hallucinations with the bad information. Yeah, yeah. Especially when it comes to things that are exceedingly important, like medical information, or anything that's diagnostic for any machine, even, or people. uh when you get when an AI system goes, nah, don't worry about it, you're fine. And you really needed, so some information that's like, because how many times, for example, right now I could do a search for something medical and type it in, and it'll spit out an answer, and then give me a link that will give me more nuanced information. But how many people go to the nuanced information? Methane says that's true. I'm calling it methane. I don't know if that's how to pronounce it. It says that's true. You got to keep watching it pretty close because it makes a lot of mistakes. I agree. And now, mind you, with fantasy and science fiction for world building, maybe we don't care, right? Like, about the mistakes. And what I mean by that is, maybe you're coming up with some, I'm going to call it fluff. We call it crunch and fluff. And maybe you're coming up with, like, what do the people of the North think about the people of the South in your world? And it spits back to you, your AI assistant is spitting back to you incorrect information about a community that you've written. And you go, well, they probably would misinterpret it, so I don't care. So that may be okay, but when you are designing, like for myself, I was looking up a lot of hard science fiction materials, and it was coming back with some contradictory material, or it wasn't necessarily contradictory. It was like glossing over something that I wanted specificity. And yeah, at least AI isn't like people, where if you do show it how it's wrong, it will realize it, apologize, and attempt to correct itself. You know what? There's a little, that's a deeper response comment than maybe you meant it to be, or probably you probably did that on purpose. Hey, kitty, come on, come on, come on. Yeah, there you go. Yes, yes, yes. This is Brutus. He's grown quite a bit, but Brutus is still about the same. Uh, you're like a small child. You don't know what you want to do. Drew says Legal Eagle made some time ago a video about lawyers that had used AI and got false precedent cases. See, yeah, right. If I need a good lawyer and they're using AI to try to search for precedences and are getting it wrong, and that, if you need a lawyer for something, whether it's true or not, it's life and death for you. Whether it's about a lot of money. He's a pretty tuxedo cat. Yeah, he's pretty cool. Um, he's got some funny behaviors. It's very good. Thank you so much. I'm sure he'll appreciate it. But yes, if you need a lawyer for something, for you, yeah, yeah. I was about to say how much Brutus has grown. Yeah, they not so much a kitten any longer. He's going to start stretching out. You know how like uh if you're a cat person, you'll know that sometimes cats they'll do the stretch out, and Brutus is a he and Scarlet is a she, and they both do the stretch out in the middle of the floor, in your arms, over your neck, whatever. They just do it. They're like, I'm tired. Stretch. It's pretty hilarious. Yeah. Oh man. All right. So I'm gonna end this a little bit with just a little background. If you don't know me, it's not a big deal, but I'm going to summarize this. So I've been offline because unfortunately had a death in the family. Don't worry, everything is copacetic in terms of that. But um, my aunt that passed away out of state has um, her husband. They're older; they are in their 80s, so they need care, and they have an adult child in their he's in his 50s now, and he has mental he's mental disabilities, and so there's was conflict about who's going to take care of them, and the funeral arrangements, and we got family out of state, in Atlanta, Florida, Texas, Ohio, and so the and this is on my wife's side of the family, so I got to be there, and I'm trying to be the voice of reason, but then if you're too reasonable, sounds like you're cold, and I can come across as being very cold sometimes. So I got to be there for the right person. So it was that kind of thing. So and oh, thank you very much, you guys. Thank you very much, Heathen, and I'm sure Heathen speaks for everybody else. But real life, what is it? Real life likes to life sometimes, and this is my escape place, but I also don't want to bring my issues to you because I have no reason to do that. Yeah, DBJ is related to some Florida man. Yeah, I was there. This also happened during leading up to Mother's Day. So here in the States, we celebrate Mother's Day. It's not an official holiday that time's taken off, but people travel and whatnot. So um, anyways, it was a whole thing. I'll let you know about it. Yeah. But yeah, this is my escape, and sometimes if my brain is like, oh, I'm fried. I can't think of anything. you know. So sometimes I just need to us. I don't know about you ladies, but sometimes us guys like, well, you use the rest area, the lavatory, the men's room, as our like escape, where we just like decompress. And sometimes you just need to do that. So yeah. But I'm back, and pop culture as it is, we have no. I don't want this to become a political channel, because I honestly, it would just if it started to go political, it would become political, and it's just horrible here in the States. It's absolutely horrible. So just talking about the stuff, it was just like eye roll, because there's always something new. So this is quite an issue. I really wish everyone the best of luck in the situation. Yeah, yeah. That's how I was looking at it, like, oh, I don't know how I can. How do I help? What can I do? And and I was feeling. You know how you feel stressed, and then you feel guilty about being stressed because you're like, hell, this isn't even about me. This is about other people. And so you can kind of feel a little guilty about that too. Yep, Hallmark holidays. Yeah, spook. See, we're the same. We're the same way. Sometimes I look at a holiday like, like, isn't that like a little bit of a corporate thing? I am there. I'm there. So anyway, that's a summary of many things, because it was a combination of um, celebration and condolences mixed together, right? And you're just like, and people were feeling guilty about feeling that way and things like that, and I'm just like, you feel the way you feel. You gotta apologize for that. Um, come come on. Oh, yeah, yeah. I hear you. I hear you've become a fan there, buddy. Yeah, that's so. Yeah, Brutus has gotten bigger here, and Brutus is a great inspiration, and of course we're going to be inspired. The rest of the week we're going to be inspired. I've heard other news about like AI systems and large language models and artwork and things like that that I want to share with you. Just little bits, like talking about the AI systems eating itself. And so I thought we would talk about the rest of not this specific thing, but other things the rest of the week, other things going on in a tabletop role playing experience. Uh, there's a there's a strange um, oh, how do you explain that? There's so Dungeons and Dragons 2024 has come out, and it's oh, have you heard them? You want to get in the microphone? Oh, come here, come here. Sorry about that, buddy. I apologize. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sorry about that. Um, Andor. Oh man, and we've got to talk about Andor. We've got to talk about it. Thank you, thank you so much, there, buddy. Yeah, it's a microphone. Mm-hmm. uh, but yeah, Andor. Oh, 789, brilliant. This Andor show, the writing on it is brilliant, brilliant. Oh man, the characters, whoever the casting director is, to get these characters in there. Oh man, can't say enough. And I don't know how they're gonna. Well, we kind of know what the end of the show is, which is called. Which there was already a movie made about it. I don't know how they're going to end the show, but there's a motorboat kid. Yeah. You will not be disappointed, Spook. Even if you hear about spoilers, I don't know if you want to call them spoilers, but if you hear and you watch the episode 789, because they're doing them like in batches of 3, it's kind of written that way, or developed that way by Tony and Dan Gilroy, and others. It's amazing. Um it is there's more tension in people walking down hallways than I've seen in some action packed movies. It's so great. Uncle Harlow. They've never shown Uncle Harlow. Yes. Drew says, I hope we finally get to see Uncle Harlow, and I wish he takes out Deidre. Yeah, that relationship, Deidre and Cyril, so blind. I had such high hopes for that relationship. Even Deidre. It's so funny, not funny, but I even love the characterization of characters that are like finally seeing the end results of the things that they thought were good, because when you're divorced from it, when you're separated from people, it's like, oh, it's not a big deal, but when you see it face to face, Deidre's shaking hands and stuff, oh my god, it's great. I just hope Andor makes it. I'd love to see him in Empire Strikes Back. Boom, boom. I love the what was it? The characterization of Andor as a messenger, as he's picking up things along the way. It's really cool. The I won't say one of the first, but one of the more public uses of the possibility of the Force, and people making a big deal about it. And I was like, yeah, they already explained it. I don't get that. Drew says, and am I wondering if we might get a brief glimpse at Bix? Maybe with a toddler in her arms. I could see that. So that we get at least to know that with Cassian's fate in Rogue One, there will be a little Andor around. Yeah. Basically, basically she says, "Don't come back. Come back with your shield or on it." And he's just like, "Oh, all right. In order to get back to her, I'm gonna have to do this thing." Yeah, yeah. And now here's something else. I'm just put this out there, guys. And I don't want to say this bothers me in fandom, but I do find it there's a bit of irony with it, and that is like Rogue One was a movie. I get it, and we have the Andor series, and they're kind of coming together. They're going to meet together in the middle, and people are constantly saying, "Hey, we didn't see these characters in Rogue One. They're probably dead." Now, mind you, that could be true, but why just because they were in Andor doesn't mean they had to have been in Rogue One. Rogue One was a specific movie about specific characters in a specific situation. People can leave and retire. They don't have to be, just because they were in one thing doesn't mean they have to be mentioned forever always. I understand that sometimes we love to geeks love to have things tied up in a nice little bow because we want to know the end results of all these people. We won't know their lives afterwards. We don't know Cyril's mom. Like, are we going to go back to her? Probably not. It's like I find it so funny, especially in science fiction, where you've got like, oh, it's a massive star system with 1,000 planets, and there's like billions of people in the main planets, and there's all these rim planets and all these uncharted planets, and it's like, you do realize all they have to do is take one trip to one place that no one knows about, and they're done. Their life is gone. They don't have to die. I just find it funny that everyone's just like, well, they weren't in the movie, so they're dead. It's like, no. Bix could probably travel somewhere with some fake credentials and just retire, just like everybody else in the movies, and I don't know. I find that funny. Like the only end result of like, well, the reason we didn't hear about them is because they're dead. It's like, no, a good writer could easily write so many other things about those characters. We don't know how many people flipped over to the Empire and put on a stormtrooper outfit and got shot in the back or whatever. We don't know that, but it could be possible. I've got several friends and I've been in several chapters in their lives, but I've dipped out of a lot of babysitting episodes. Dipped out. You're like, oh, I've got things. I'm not wearing a watch, but I got to get out of here. Dipped out of a lot of babysitting episodes. Yep. I'll be back next season when they can flush themselves. Yeah. But anyway, guys, thank you very much for being part of the show. Sorry about being away without an explanation. Apologize for personal stuff is personal things, and a lot of people, you guys don't need to hear about these kind of things. But it can be mentally taxing, and I don't know how good this channel would be because the quality is like, it's on a scale of 1 to 10, it hovers around 3 to 5. I don't know how much lower the quality could dip on this channel if I'm sitting here going like, yeah, life happens. Exactly. Life happens, and we're just here for escapism and have some good times and whatnot. Maybe I'll share out some imagery or video or something that I've seen recently. It's really kind of cool. And also, I do think Brutus brings the quality to the show. Brutus, you're the producer. Yeah, you are. I don't even think you know your name yet. Your name is Brutus. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll tell you that over and over again. Well, I appreciate the prayers. I really do. So, guys, have a great one. Thank you very much for being part of the show. I really appreciate it. Have a great day. I got to get out of here. Got to get deliver the mails. I'm a letter carrier. Got to deliver the mails and get on out. So, guys, have a great one. Thank you very much for being part of the show. I will see thee tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time here on this side of the the interwebs and this side of the world. So have a great one. Thank you very much. And I'll see you later. Peace, tranquility. Bye.